Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight, we drift inward into the quiet architecture of the human body. Beneath your skin lies an entire universe of intricate design, a living network of cells, tissues, and organs that never truly rests. Your heart keeps time like a soft, tireless metronome. Nerves whisper messages faster than lightning. Deep inside your bones, tiny factories work without pause, building the substance of life itself. Every breath you take, every blink, every quiet moment of stillness is powered by systems so complex we are only beginning to understand them. The body is not just a machine, but a miracle of balance, precision, and constant renewal. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is relax. Let your mind slow down and allow nature's rhythm to carry you inward. Let's begin. The human body is a framework of more than 200 distinct bones. From head to heel, rigid levers and protective plates fit together like an ingenious scaffold. Long limbs provide reach and stride, while flat shields guard the brain and vital organs. Tiny ossicles in the ear transmit the faintest tremor, and curved ribs spring with every breath. Mineral crystals lend compressive strength, and a collagen matrix gives just enough flex to bend instead of shatter. Within this living architecture, marrow grows blood cells by the millions each heartbeat, and surfaces wrapped in cartilage meet in low-friction joints that sip a slick substance more slippery than oil. Cells called osteoclasts carefully dissolve old tissue, while osteoblasts lay down fresh lamellae, so the structure stays strong as forces shift throughout life. Even teeth, anchored into jawbone, share this theme of sturdy attachment and precision function. What looks solid is actually dynamic, quietly adapting to the way you move, lift, rest, and dream. The heart beats more than 2.5 billion times in an average lifetime. A muscular organ the size of a fist keeps time for everything else. With each contraction, valves snap open and closed in a one-way rhythm that prevents backwash and keeps blood coursing forward. 4 chambers divide labor, 2 receiving, 2 propelling, so oxygen-poor blood can be sent to the lungs, and oxygen-rich blood can return at once to nourish every cell. Electrical impulses ripple across specialized fibers, accelerating with excitement, easing during sleep, subtly changing with posture and breath. Coronary vessels wrap the muscle itself, feeding the very pump that feeds the body. Over the decades, this cadence drives rivers of plasma, red cells, nutrients, hormones, and heat. It also carries messages, because pressure waves from each stroke reach hidden sensors that inform the brain about volume and demand. The miracle is not brute force, but relentless reliability, a tireless metronome that quietly composes a life. The brain contains more connections than there are stars in the Milky Way. Within a soft kilogram of tissue, networks lace together in shimmering complexity. Neurons speak in spikes, millisecond flashes that leap synapse to synapse across microscopic gaps bridged by chemical messengers. Each cell can connect to thousands of others, and those junctions strengthen or weaken with experience, sculpting pathways that reflect learning and memory. Glial partners support, insulate, and fine-tune signaling, guiding growth and clearing debris so circuits remain nimble. Patterns emerge from this dense web, producing sensation, language, imagination, and the feeling of self moving through time. Even at rest, activity flows in loops that resemble weather systems, with currents, eddies, and storms of coordinated firing. When you practice a skill, connections are remodeled, myelin wraps axons for faster conduction, and entire maps in cortex subtly redraw. Thought is not a single stream but a living city of signals, humming, adapting, and endlessly forming new routes. Each lung holds hundreds of millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli. Breath enters through branching passages that divide again and again until the tubes end in delicate clusters like grapes on a vine. At the surface of each sac, a film so thin it is nearly transparent separates air from blood. Oxygen slips inward, while carbon dioxide slips out, exchanging places with every breath you take. This interface is vast, folded into countless pockets to grant enormous surface area within a compact chest. A lace of capillaries embraces each bubble, and surfactant coats the interior to keep the walls from sticking shut. The diaphragm's downward pull expands the spaces, and elastic recoil helps them empty with minimal effort. Even posture and gravity influence how air distributes, quietly reshaping the map of ventilation from moment to moment. What feels like a simple inhale is really billions of microscopic handshakes, a peaceful trade between the sky and your cells. The skin renews itself roughly every month. A boundary only a few millimeters thick performs a surprising list of tasks. It keeps water in and pathogens out, senses temperature and texture, regulates heat with sweat and blood flow, and synthesizes important molecules when touched by sunlight. Its outermost layer is a mosaic of flattened cells packed with protective proteins, a barrier that constantly flakes away as deeper layers push upward. Stem, like cells in the basal stratum divide, differentiating as they climb until they become the very shield they once hid beneath. Oil from glands softens the surface, and a living film of microbes competes with invaders while helping train immunity. Tiny muscles tug hairs upright when you feel a chill or a surge of emotion. Every few weeks, the whole sheet quietly replaces itself, like renewing a suit of armor without ever taking it off, mending scuffs and sealing microcracks as you go about your day. The liver can regenerate up to 2/3 of its mass if damaged. Tucked under the right ribs, this deep red organ is both chemical factory and vigilant filter. It processes nutrients arriving from the gut, turning some into storage forms and converting others into building blocks for cells. It neutralizes toxins, packages fats, balances amino acids, and manufactures proteins that keep blood from leaking and clots from failing. When injury or surgical removal occurs, surviving cells re-enter the cell cycle, multiply and reorganize the architecture with astonishing precision. Blood vessels and bile ducts grow in step, restoring the hexagonal neighborhoods where work is done. The process is not reckless growth, but controlled orchestration, guided by growth factors and checks that halt the program when the shape and size are right again. Day to day, it also acts as a reservoir for glucose, releasing it between meals to keep the brain and muscles supplied, a steady hand on metabolic balance. The skeleton is constantly being rebuilt by living cells. Bone looks like stone, yet it is alive with activity. On the surface and within tiny canals, teams of cells survey stress, strain, and microscopic damage. When old tissue must be removed, resorbing cells carve tunnels and pits, dissolving mineral with acidic tools. Builders arrive behind them to lay down fresh scaffolds of collagen, which slowly mineralize into sturdy lamellae. The result is a patchwork of new and old woven together, optimized for the loads you place upon it. Weight-bearing exercise encourages reinforcement, while disuse leads to thinning that can be reversed with restored activity. Embedded sentinels sense mechanical forces and signal when reinforcement is needed, translating movement into molecular messages. Even the marrow cavities adapt, adjusting their shape to balance strength with lightness. Over years, nearly every part is renewed, So the framework you carry is not just a relic of childhood, but a record of how you live. The cornea of the eye is the only part of the body with no blood supply. The window at the front of the eye must remain crystal clear, so it takes an unusual path to nourishment. Instead of vessels, it drinks oxygen directly from the air dissolved in tears and receives nutrients from fluid inside the eye. Its layered structure is exquisitely smooth, polished by blinking, and kept moist by a film that spreads with each closure of the lids. Nerves are dense here, granting sharp sensitivity that protects against dust and dryness, which is why a stray eyelash feels enormous. Cells at the edges slide inward to patch minor scrapes, and a thin basement membrane guides orderly repair so transparency is preserved. Even tiny irregularities in curvature can blur the world, so clarity and shape are guarded with constant care. This bloodless clarity is what allows light to enter unscattered, setting the stage for the lens and retina to perform their focused work. Fingernails grow faster on the hand you use most. Growth emerges from a hidden matrix beneath the cuticle, where cells proliferate, fill with tough keratin, and push forward as a translucent plate. Repeated use stimulates blood flow and microsignals that can speed the process, so the busier hand often shows quicker extension. Temperature, nutrition, and overall health also play roles, with warmer seasons and good circulation tending to accelerate the parade of new cells. The plate itself is not alive, but the living bed beneath it is, and its smoothness, hydration, and protection determine the clarity and strength you notice. Small ridges, half-moons, and subtle color changes can hint at systemic shifts, because nails grow slowly enough to archive weeks of physiology. Their curvature and thickness distribute forces as you grip, scratch, and type, while the faintly elastic keratin resists splitting. What seems like a simple shield is a quiet record of habit and health. The tongue is made of thousands of tiny muscles working together. A flexible bundle of interwoven fibers can curl, flatten, widen, narrow, and ripple in complex sequences. These intricate maneuvers help form consonants, shape vowels, and steer food precisely towards safe swallowing. Sensory cells sample chemicals, temperature, and texture, sending reports that merge with smell and sight to create the richness of flavor. Some regions have slightly higher densities of particular receptors, but all areas participate, so a sweet note or a bitter edge can be detected across the surface. Saliva dissolves molecules so they can reach the taste pores, and microscopic papillae increase contact without sacrificing agility. Beneath it all, a nimble coordination with the jaw and soft palate keeps airways protected while allowing speech or breath to continue. The remarkable part is endurance. This soft engine works from first cries through late-night whispers, guiding every bite and shaping every word with tireless precision. Blood travels through more than 60,000 miles of vessels. Inside every body lies an unseen map of astonishing scale. Arteries branch like rivers from the heart, narrowing into streams of arterioles and finally into microscopic capillaries, each so fine that red blood cells must squeeze through in single file. Through these narrow corridors, oxygen and nutrients pass outward, while carbon dioxide and waste slip inward for removal. Then veins gather the returning flow, guiding it back toward the lungs for renewal. This endless circuit operates automatically, never tiring, driven by the rhythmic pulse of the heart and the elasticity of the vessel walls. Pressure waves echo down every artery, flexing with each beat. If laid end to end, the network would wrap around Earth more than twice, yet it fits inside you, folding and looping with exquisite efficiency. Every blink, breath, and thought depends on this vast highway of life, moving quietly beneath the skin, never once pausing. the smallest bone in the body, helps with hearing. Deep within the middle ear, beyond the eardrum, 3 delicate ossicles form a chain: the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. The last of these, shaped like a tiny stirrup, is smaller than a grain of rice, yet crucial for transforming sound into sensation. Vibrations from the eardrum set this bone in motion, transmitting pressure to the fluid-filled cochlea, where hair cells convert movement into electrical signals. The structure's compact geometry allows remarkable precision, amplifying faint air vibrations into detectable waves. Ligaments and muscles stabilize the chain, even damping overly loud noises to prevent damage. Despite its fragility, this miniature lever system endures decades of constant motion, working every second of your waking life and during sleep. Its efficiency shows how evolution sculpts function from delicacy, turning the faintest whisper of air into the spark of a thought, a melody, or the warmth of a familiar voice. Every person's heart creates a unique electrical rhythm. Hidden inside the heart's tissue are clusters of pacemaker cells, spontaneous generators of electrical impulses. These signals radiate outward through specialized fibers, choreographing each contraction of the atria and ventricles in perfect sequence. The timing pattern varies subtly among individuals, shaped by genetics, age, emotional state, and even the rhythm of breathing. Sensitive machines can record these patterns as electrocardiograms, revealing the personal signature of your heartbeat, its peaks, troughs, and intervals unlike anyone else's. In moments of excitement, the intervals tighten in calm, they widen, forming a kind of biological Morse code of feeling. The nervous system and hormones modulate the tempo, translating physical and emotional needs into pulses of current. This rhythm doesn't just pump blood, it communicates constantly with the brain, synchronizing circulation to thought, movement, and rest. Each person carries within them a silent composition, an electrical melody that scores the story of their life. The stomach produces acid strong enough to dissolve metal. Within the curved pouch beneath your ribs lies a cauldron of extraordinary potency. Specialized glands in its lining secrete hydrochloric acid at concentrations so fierce it can strip paint and corrode metals in a laboratory setting. Yet the stomach endures this environment unharmed, protected by a thick mucus barrier and rapid cell turnover that replaces damaged tissue within days. The acid's purpose is precise: to denature proteins, break down complex foods, and destroy most of the microbes that accompany each meal. Enzymes such as pepsin thrive in this extreme acidity, working together to reduce solid food into a creamy mixture called chyme. When the meal is processed enough, muscular waves push it toward the small intestine for further digestion. Between feasts, the organ rests in quiet readiness, a patient crucible waiting for the next taste of life. Its strength serves a delicate mission, power harnessed for nourishment, not destruction. Bones are about 5 times stronger than steel of the same density. Although they seem brittle, bones combine remarkable resilience with efficiency. Their secret lies in composite design, rigid mineral crystals embedded within a flexible matrix of collagen fibers. This partnership allows them to withstand tremendous stress while bending slightly under load, preventing fractures. The internal architecture resembles latticework, with trabeculae arranged along lines of force, distributing pressure evenly and minimizing weight. This means bone is not only strong, but also astonishingly light, an engineering triumph refined by evolution. Fractures trigger an organized repair process where cells remove debris, lay down cartilage, and gradually rebuild new bone that can become even stronger than before. Every leap, twist, and step tests this material, yet it endures, adapting microstructure over time to match your habits. When compared by weight, its combination of strength, flexibility, and self-repair would make any human engineer envious, a living alloy crafted by nature's patient hand. The ear can detect pressure changes smaller than a trillionth of the atmosphere. Hearing begins with impossibly subtle vibrations. When sound waves enter the ear canal, they strike the eardrum with pressures so faint they barely disturb the surrounding air molecules. Yet the eardrum responds, its motion magnified by the tiny bones of the middle ear and transmitted into the cochlear's fluid interior. Inside, thousands of hair cells bend in response to these movements, converting them into electrical signals with precision approaching atomic scale. The quiet whisper moves the membrane by less than the width of a hydrogen atom, yet the brain interprets it effortlessly. To protect against damage, mechanisms inside the ear can adjust sensitivity, tightening muscles or reducing amplification when volumes rise. This ability to span such an immense range, from the softest breeze to a roaring storm, demonstrates how sensitive and adaptable our auditory system is, translating delicate air patterns into the rich language of key, sound, and emotion. The nose can distinguish over 1 trillion different scents. Inside the nasal cavity, a patch of specialized tissue just a few centimeters wide holds millions of sensory neurons. Each one carries receptors tuned to specific molecular shapes, and combinations of these receptors create a vast palette of possible odors. When you inhale, airborne molecules dissolve in mucus and bind to these receptors, triggering electrical signals that travel to the olfactory bulb in the brain. There, patterns of activation form scent signatures as complex as fingerprints. Remarkably, the brain can recognize these patterns even in mixtures containing hundreds of components, allowing you to identify coffee, rain, or the pages of an old book instantly. Smell also connects directly to emotional and memory centers, which is why a single whiff can summon vivid recollections. This direct line between chemistry and consciousness is ancient and powerful, a reminder that perception begins with invisible molecules dancing through the air. The human body emits a faint, natural glow. Every cell in the body performs countless chemical reactions that release tiny packets of light known as biophotons. These emissions are unimaginably dim, about 1,000 times weaker than what the naked eye can see, but sensitive cameras have recorded them. The glow arises mainly from metabolic processes involving reactive oxygen species, which briefly excite molecules as they interact with oxygen. The resulting photons reflect the rhythm of life itself, fluctuating with sleep, stress, and even circadian cycles. Scientists can detect subtle differences between body regions, suggesting that the skin's luminosity mirrors cellular activity beneath. Though invisible to us, this radiance ties humans to other living organisms, many of which use bioluminescence more boldly. Ours is hidden, a whisper of light rather than a display. Yet in the dark laboratory of biology, it reminds us that life, at its core, is an interplay of energy, chemistry, and shimmering light. Each fingertip has its own unique pattern of nerve endings. Touch feels simple, but beneath the skin lies an extraordinary array of sensors tuned to pressure, vibration, temperature, and texture. In the fingertips, this system reaches its peak density. Each square centimeter hosts thousands of specialized endings, from rapidly adapting receptors that sense motion to slow ones that track sustained pressure. These inputs travel through separate channels to the brain, where they combine into a single vivid sensation. No two fingertips are wired in exactly the same way, and even identical twins differ slightly in pattern. This diversity ensures refined dexterity and precision when manipulating objects or reading surfaces by feel. The tactile system updates in real time, adjusting sensitivity based on expectations and attention. It can detect ridges smaller than a micron, translating the physical world into an intimate language of contact. Every touch is therefore both mechanical and emotional, a direct dialogue between matter and mind. The eyes can perceive more shades of green than any other color. Vision depends on 3 types of cone cells in the retina, each sensitive to a different range of wavelengths. The one tuned to green light sits at the center of this spectrum, overlapping heavily with its neighbors. This overlap gives the visual system its greatest resolution for subtle variations in green, the color most abundant in natural environments. Evolution likely favored this ability because distinguishing foliage helped early humans spot fruit, prey, and predators. Light reflected from leaves carries complex mixtures of wavelengths, and the eye's middle cone cells can discriminate these tiny differences with remarkable precision. In contrast, blues and reds engage fewer overlapping receptors, limiting their nuance. The brain further refines these signals, constructing gradients and contrast that make forests appear endlessly varied. What we experience as beauty in a landscape may be the biological echo of survival, written in countless shades of living green. Red blood cells travel through the entire body in less than a minute. Every second, millions of disc-shaped cells surge from the heart's left ventricle, racing through arteries, capillaries, and veins before returning again for another cycle. Lacking nuclei, these cells dedicate all their space to hemoglobin, a protein that binds oxygen with iron atoms at its core. After picking up fresh oxygen in the lungs, they deliver it to tissues and carry carbon dioxide back for release. The journey takes roughly 50 seconds at rest, faster during exertion, creating a continuous loop that sustains every organ. Flexibility allows them to squeeze through vessels narrower than their own width, folding and unfolding like parachutes. Each cell survives about 4 months before being recycled by the spleen and replaced by newborns from bone marrow. This constant turnover keeps the bloodstream vibrant and efficient, a living river renewing itself moment by moment as it nourishes and cleanses the entire body. The intestines are longer than your height when uncoiled. Coiled neatly within the abdomen lies an astonishing length of digestive tubing. The small intestine alone stretches about 20 feet, folded and looped to fit within the compact space of the torso. Its interior surface is lined with finger-like villi and microscopic microvilli that multiply area for absorbing nutrients. Food, already broken into simple molecules by enzymes, passes slowly through, meeting a symphony of secretions and microbial partners that extract every usable component. Beyond it, the large intestine reclaims water and minerals, shaping waste for elimination. Muscular waves called peristalsis move contents with rhythmic grace, directed by an enteric nervous system so independent it's nicknamed the second brain. This hidden corridor links the outer world to the inner one, translating meals into energy and matter. Its vastness inside a small space demonstrates nature's genius for folding, the art of making the infinite fit comfortably within us. Muscles make up about 40% of total body weight. More than 600 skeletal muscles weave through the human form, pulling bones and skin into motion. Each fiber acts like a microscopic engine, contracting when chemical signals release calcium that triggers sliding filaments to shorten. Bundled together, these fibers produce astonishing force and control, from the precision of writing to the power of running. Beyond movement, muscles also generate heat, maintain posture, and help pump blood through veins. Constant use reshapes them. Inactivity lets them shrink. Even the heart and intestines are specialized muscle types, built for endurance rather than strength. Muscles communicate metabolically with other organs, releasing hormones that influence mood, immunity, and energy balance. This living fabric unites mind and body. Thoughts become motion. Emotion becomes gesture. Whether lifting, breathing, or smiling, you are continuously translating electrical intention into the elegant language of contraction and release. The brain has no pain receptors. Though it governs every sensation, the brain itself cannot feel pain. Surgeons can touch or even operate on exposed brain tissue under local anesthesia without causing discomfort because it lacks nociceptors, the specialized nerves that detect injury. Instead, pain associated with headaches or trauma comes from tissues surrounding the brain, the meninges, blood vessels, and scalp. This absence allows the brain to focus entirely on processing incoming information rather than reacting to it. Yet the irony is profound. The organ that deceives all suffering remains numb to its own wounds. Protective layers and cushioning cerebrospinal fluid help guard it from damage, and a dense skull provides a final shield. Still, when blood flow changes or pressure builds, nearby structures send distress signals that the brain interprets as pain. In feeling everything yet nothing of itself, it mirrors consciousness, aware of the universe but blind to its own inner silence. The spinal cord contains about 13.5 million neurons. Running from the brainstem down through the vertebral column, this slender cord of tissue serves as the main communication highway of the body. Bundles of neurons transmit messages between the brain and every muscle, organ, and patch of skin. Reflex circuits within it can act independently, producing rapid reactions like pulling a hand from a flame before you consciously register heat. Gray matter in the center handles processing, while white matter carries long-range signals wrapped in insulating myelin for speed. The cord's organization is elegant. Sensory information ascends on one side, motor commands descend on the other. Surrounding membranes and cerebrospinal fluid cushion it against shocks, and bony vertebrae protect it like armor plates. Damage can interrupt messages below the injury, showing how essential this narrow bridge is. Within its fibers, the will to move and the sense of touch travel side by side in silence. The surface area of the lungs could cover a tennis court. When fully expanded, the combined interior of the lungs unfolds into a landscape of staggering size. Each bronchiole ends in clusters of alveoli, and every alveolus presents a thin membrane to the surrounding capillaries. Multiply that by hundreds of millions, and the exchange surface reaches about 70 square meters, roughly equal to the area of a tennis court. This vast expanse enables rapid oxygen absorption and carbon dioxide release, even during exercise when demand surges. The surface must remain moist yet not flooded, flexible yet stable, a balance maintained by surfactant molecules and the precise regulation of pressure. Airflow adjusts automatically through tiny muscles controlling airway diameter, optimizing distribution. All this happens effortlessly, moment to moment, as you breathe in your sleep or during a sprint. The immense hidden landscape inside each chest is a quiet marvel, a forest of living membranes constantly touching the sky. The body contains enough fat to make 7 bars of soap. Stored beneath the skin, around organs, and even within bone marrow, fat serves far more than a cosmetic role. It cushions vital structures, insulates against cold, and acts as a dense energy reserve. Each gram holds more than twice the energy of carbohydrates or proteins, a compact form of biological fuel. In times of scarcity, hormones trigger the release of fatty acids to sustain metabolism. Historically, this adaptability meant survival through famine and winter. Chemically, fat is composed of triglycerides that can indeed be converted into soap through a process called saponification, combining with alkali to form cleansing solids. While modern life rarely requires such transformation, the fact underscores the versatility of organic matter. Far from inert padding, adipose tissue communicates with the brain and immune system, secreting signals that influence hunger and inflammation. A complex, dynamic organ disguised as softness. Saliva contains natural painkillers more powerful than morphine. Within the clear fluid that keeps the mouth moist lies an unexpected pharmacy. Scientists have discovered peptides such as opiafin that amplify the body's own pain relief pathways by slowing the breakdown of endorphins. Though present in trace amounts, these molecules demonstrate how even ordinary secretions hide sophisticated chemistry. Saliva also begins digestion, lubricates speech, and maintains oral health by neutralizing acids and washing away microbes. Its production is tightly linked to the nervous system, increasing when you anticipate food and decreasing under stress. Each day, your glands produce nearly a liter of it without conscious effort. Its gentle, constant presence is easy to overlook, yet every swallow carries with it tiny elements of defense, healing, and comfort. That something so humble can rival pharmaceutical power is a quiet testament to nature's subtle ingenuity, one that begins with the simplest act of swallowing. The iris of each eye is as unique as a fingerprint. Circling the pupil like a colored ring, the iris forms during development through intricate folding and pigmentation patterns that never repeat exactly between individuals. Even identical twins possess distinct textures and streaks. Muscle fibers within the iris expand or contract the pupil to regulate light entry, creating the familiar motion of the eyes adjusting to brightness. Under magnification, the surface reveals valleys, crypts, and radial threads shaped by microscopic differences in collagen. Biometric systems use these details for identification because they remain stable over a lifetime. Beyond function, the iris contributes to the emotional expressiveness of the eyes. Tiny dilations reveal interest, fear, or affection. Its hues shift subtly with lighting and mood, producing the illusion of changing color. The ring that frames perception thus becomes part of communication itself, a living mosaic that both protects and reveals the window of the mind. The skin is the largest organ in the human body. Stretching over the entire surface, skin accounts for roughly 16% of total body weight and covers about 20 square feet in an adult. It forms a multi-layered shield composed of the epidermis, dermis, and subcutaneous tissue, each with specialized roles. The outer cells die and compact into a tough barrier, while deeper layers house sweat glands, hair follicles, nerves, and blood vessels. Beyond protection, skin regulates temperature through perspiration and blood flow, prevents dehydration, and enables touch, pain, and warmth sensations. Pigment cells defend against ultraviolet radiation, and immune cells patrol for invaders. Microbes living peacefully on the surface create a balanced ecosystem that supports health. Every scrape triggers coordinated healing, knitting collagen and forming new tissue. Constantly renewed, sensitive, and self-repairing, it is both armor and interface, the boundary that lets the world touch you without letting it break through. The heart creates enough pressure to move blood several feet. Each beat of the heart sends blood surging with astonishing force. When the left ventricle contracts, it generates pressure strong enough to lift a column of blood several feet into the air if the arteries were open to it. This power drives the entire circulatory system, forcing blood through thick main arteries, branching vessels, and eventually to capillaries finer than a hair. The elastic walls of these arteries store some of that energy, releasing it between beats to keep the flow smooth and continuous. It is an elegant system of physics and biology, converting muscular motion into hydraulic precision. The same pressure that could propel liquid outward instead sustains delicate tissues within. Every pulse felt at the wrist or neck is evidence of that measured strength, the silent proof that a small muscle hidden in the chest can move the entire ocean of life within a human body. People are slightly taller in the morning than at night. When you wake up, you are literally a little taller than when you went to sleep. The difference can be as much as a couple of centimeters, caused by the decompression of the soft cartilage discs between the vertebrae in your spine. Throughout the day, gravity presses down, and these discs slowly release fluid, shrinking ever so slightly. When you lie down again, the weight of your body is evenly distributed, allowing the discs to reabsorb fluid and expand. This daily cycle of compression and recovery is one of the many small rhythms that play out silently in the background of human life. The process also helps cushion impacts and maintain flexibility. It is a quiet reminder that even our bones and joints breathe in their own way, responding to rest and motion with gentle elasticity, stretching and settling like the tides of the body's internal sea. Hair is made of keratin, the same protein found in horns and hooves. Each strand of hair is a long chain of keratin, a tough fibrous protein that nature uses in many of its most durable structures. In humans, keratin is arranged in overlapping scales that give hair its strength, shine, and flexibility. The hair shaft that we see is not living tissue, but a hardened extension of cells produced deep within follicles in the scalp. Its texture, curl, and color depend on genetics and the tiny differences in how these keratin cells are shaped and bonded. Despite its apparent fragility, a single hair can hold a surprising amount of weight, and together millions create the thick coverings that protect the head from sunlight and retain heat. Across the animal kingdom, keratin forms claws, horns, feathers, and scales. In humans, it becomes something softer and more expressive, a biological thread woven with memory, identity, and even emotion. The average adult has around 5 million hair follicles. Long before birth, nearly every hair follicle you will ever have is already in place beneath your skin. These tiny pits house the living cells that form hair, each with its own growth cycle of formation, rest, and shedding. On average, about 5 million follicles cover the body, though their activity and thickness vary greatly depending on genetics, hormones, and age. The scalp alone contains roughly 100,000, arranged to maximize density and insulation. Follicles are more than simple anchors. They are miniature organs equipped with sebaceous glands that secrete oil, sensory nerves that detect movement, and small muscles that lift the hairs in response to cold or emotion. Even when a hair falls, a follicle endures, ready to begin again. This microscopic forest is always in motion, growing, resting, and renewing, one of the quietest yet most persistent expressions of living tissue in the body. Taste buds have a lifespan of about 10 days. On the surface of your tongue are thousands of taste buds, each containing clusters of receptor cells that respond to molecules dissolved in saliva. These cells are delicate and short-lived, exposed constantly to food, drink, heat, and abrasion. Because of this, they regenerate continuously, with new cells replacing old ones roughly every 10 days. This renewal keeps your sense of taste sharp and adaptable, maintaining sensitivity to sweetness, bitterness, saltiness, sourness, and umami. Each bud connects to sensory neurons that send signals to the brain, where flavor merges with smell, texture, and temperature into a single experience. Even the subtle variations in diet or health can influence the turnover rate, adjusting your perception over time. The process is a reminder that taste, like life, is not static, but ever-evolving, rebuilt again and again, so that every meal can be felt as something vividly new. The brain uses about 1/5 of all the body's energy. Although it weighs only about 3 pounds, the human brain consumes around 20% of the body's total energy supply. This enormous demand powers the constant electrical and chemical signaling among billions of neurons. Even when the body rests, the brain remains active, maintaining awareness, memory, and the hidden orchestration of heartbeat, breath, and temperature. The energy fuels both the transmission of impulses along axons and the recycling of neurotransmitters at synapses, processes that never truly stop. Glucose is its primary fuel, and even slight drops can impair clarity or focus. To support such a workload, the brain has evolved a rich blood supply, drawing about 1/5 of the heart's output at any moment. That ceaseless appetite for energy reveals how thought, imagination, and consciousness themselves depend upon a steady chemical flame, burning quietly to illuminate every moment of human awareness. Bone marrow produces about 2 million red blood cells every second. Inside the hollow centers of bones lies bone marrow, a soft, living tissue where the most fundamental work of renewal occurs. In the red marrow of large bones, stem cells divide constantly, creating red blood cells that carry oxygen, white cells that defend against infection, and platelets that help blood to clot. Every second, roughly 2 million red blood cells enter circulation, replacing those that have completed their 4-month journey through the body. The production is guided by hormones that sense oxygen levels and adjust output accordingly. The marrow's architecture is intricate, with sinuses and fibers that guide maturing cells toward the bloodstream. Damage or disease can disrupt this delicate process, revealing how dependent life is on continuous regeneration. Hidden within bones that seem inert, this quiet workshop labors without rest, ensuring that every heartbeat is met with fresh, oxygen-bearing life. The strongest muscle relative to size is the masseter in the jaw. When you bite down, the masseter muscle in each cheek engages with remarkable force. Pound for pound, it is the strongest muscle in the human body, capable of exerting several hundred pounds of pressure on the molars. The muscle works in perfect coordination with others that open and stabilize the jaw, allowing speech, chewing, and expression. Despite its power, it moves with extraordinary precision, able to crush a nut or delicately shape a word. The masseter's fibers anchor firmly to the cheekbone and lower jaw, and its dense arrangement of contractile proteins gives it strength out of proportion to its size. This compact engine of motion has evolved for endurance as well as power, working countless times each day. Every smile, word, and meal depends on it, a small but mighty reminder that true strength is often measured in control as much as force. The human eye can detect a single photon under ideal conditions. The retina at the back of the eye is a sheet of light-sensitive cells so refined that it can respond to the smallest possible unit of light, a single photon. Under perfectly dark and still conditions, the rods of the retina can register that tiny spark, sending a signal onward through the optic nerve to the brain. Of course, in everyday life, visual noise and constant movement mask such sensitivity, but the potential remains. This sensitivity arises from the exquisite chemistry of rhodopsin molecules, which change shape when struck by light, triggering an electrical cascade. That one quantum of energy can begin a neural event that leads to vision is one of the quiet marvels of biology. Every glance at a star or flicker of candlelight is proof of how the universe's faintest glimmers find their way directly into human perception. The inner ear helps maintain balance as well as hearing. Beyond the delicate structures that perceive sound lies another system that helps you stand upright and move smoothly. The vestibular apparatus of the inner ear contains fluid-filled semicircular canals and tiny crystals resting on hair cells. When you tilt or turn your head, the fluid shifts and the crystals move, bending the sensory hairs and signaling direction and acceleration to the brain. These signals merge with information from the eyes and muscles, allowing coordinated movement and steady posture. Without this sense, walking, standing, or even focusing your gaze would become chaotic. The system is so finely tuned that it can detect motion smaller than a grain of sand. Yet when the fluid is disturbed by illness or rapid spinning, the result is dizziness, the illusion of movement in stillness. It is a hidden compass, guiding balance from within, constantly translating motion into quiet equilibrium. The liver performs more than 500 vital functions. Among all the organs of the body, the liver may be the most industrious. It filters blood, neutralizes toxins, stores vitamins, produces cholesterol, and synthesizes essential proteins that keep blood from clotting too easily or too little. It regulates energy by converting glucose to glycogen and releasing it as needed. It breaks down old red blood cells and helps process fats with bile it secretes into the digestive tract. Altogether, more than 500 known functions occur within its cells, each carried out with exacting precision. The organ's dense network of vessels and ducts allows it to handle both chemical processing and circulation simultaneously. Unlike most organs, it can regenerate lost tissue, rebuilding its structure after injury or surgery. Quietly, every moment of the day and night, the liver acts as laboratory, warehouse, and guardian, maintaining the fragile balance on which life depends. Each kidney filters about 50 gallons of blood every day. 2 fist-sized organs in your lower back work tirelessly to clean the bloodstream. Every 24 hours, they filter roughly 50 gallons of blood, removing waste products and balancing water, salts, and minerals. Each kidney contains about 1 million microscopic units called nephrons, where filtration begins as blood pressure forces fluid through delicate membranes. Useful substances such as glucose and amino acids are reclaimed, while urea and other waste flow outward to form urine. The kidneys also regulate blood pressure through hormones and help control red blood cell production. Their precision is extraordinary. The chemistry of blood must stay within narrow limits for life to continue. Even slight imbalances can trigger immediate correction. These small, quiet organs perform their work in darkness and silence, cleansing the river of life with every heartbeat, keeping the inner world clear and in perfect chemical harmony. The largest artery in the body is nearly as wide as a garden hose. The aorta, emerging directly from the heart, carries oxygen-rich blood to the entire body. It is both flexible and resilient, built to withstand the surge of pressure that follows each heartbeat. In adults, it can reach more than 1 inch in diameter, comparable to the width of a garden hose. Its elastic walls expand with each pulse and then contract, smoothing the flow so that smaller arteries receive a steady stream. The aorta's structure includes 3 layers, each serving a different purpose: strength, elasticity, and a smooth surface to reduce friction. Branching arteries extend from it like great rivers dividing into tributaries. Over a lifetime, it carries enough blood to fill an ocean, yet it must remain supple and unblocked for the system to thrive. It is both conduit and cushion, the first highway of life from the heart's powerful engine. Tiny muscles in the skin cause goosebumps. When you feel cold or suddenly moved by emotion, the small muscles attached to hair follicles contract, pulling the hairs upright and creating the familiar pattern of goosebumps. In animals, this reaction makes fur stand out to trap heat or appear larger to threats. In humans, the effect is mostly vestigial, a faint echo of our fur-covered ancestors. The process is controlled by the autonomic nervous system, triggered by stress, chill, or powerful feeling. At the microscopic level, the contraction of these tiny erector pili muscles also squeezes nearby oil glands, helping to distribute protective oils along the skin. Although the bumps themselves are temporary, the response reveals how deeply emotion and physiology intertwine. A single song, a sudden memory, or a chill wind can awaken it, as if the body remembers an ancient instinct and shivers with the ghosts of its animal past. A newborn baby has more bones than an adult. At birth, a baby's skeleton contains around 300 bones, many more than the 206 found in adulthood. This is because several bones that will later fuse are still separate, joined by flexible cartilage that allows for growth and easier passage through birth. As the child matures, these pieces gradually harden and merge, especially in the skull and spine. The process, called ossification, continues through adolescence, shaping the final adult framework. The early flexibility protects infants from injury and gives their bodies the ability to grow rapidly without rigidity. Even after fusion, the body continues to remodel bone tissue throughout life. In this sense, a skeleton is never truly fixed. It is a living architecture that evolves with the person it supports, beginning soft and many, ending strong and few. The appendix may act as a safe storage site for beneficial bacteria. Long dismissed as a useless remnant, the appendix now appears to have a quiet purpose. Research suggests that it serves as a reservoir for helpful gut bacteria, preserving them during bouts of illness or foodborne infection. When the digestive system is emptied or disrupted, these beneficial microbes can repopulate the intestines from their hidden refuge. The appendix is small and finger-shaped, extending from the lower end of the large intestine. Its walls contain lymphoid tissue rich in immune cells, hinting at its dual role in both immunity and microbial balance. While humans can live without it, its presence seems to contribute to long-term gut health and stability. Like so many biological features once thought obsolete, it reveals the subtle complexity of evolution, where even the smallest organ may serve a quiet, essential purpose in the harmony of the body. The average adult brain weighs about 3 pounds. Cradled within the skull, the brain's 3 pounds of tissue has everything that makes each person unique. Its texture is soft and almost gelatinous, yet within it reside thoughts, memories, sensations, and dreams. The weight is deceptive, for it contains about 80 billion neurons, each connected to thousands of others in a labyrinth of communication. The brain's mass is distributed unevenly. The large cerebrum dominates, while the cerebellum and brainstem handle coordination and vital functions. Despite its modest size, the brain uses vast amounts of oxygen and glucose, commanding about 1/5 of the body's energy. It is encased in 3 protective membranes and cushioned by cerebrospinal fluid that absorbs shocks. When viewed from the outside, it appears silent, but inside, every second, electrical storms flash across its surface. That small weight is the seat of mind itself, a universe folded into a handful of living matter. Every person's face is slightly asymmetrical. Human faces appear balanced, but perfect symmetry is almost non-existent. Subtle differences exist between the left and right sides of the skull, the muscles, and the soft tissues. One eye may sit fractionally higher, one nostril may flare wider, or one corner of the mouth may curve more strongly when smiling. These variations develop naturally during growth and can change slightly with age, injury, or habitual expression. Far from being flaws, they are part of what makes each face individual and expressive. Studies suggest that slight asymmetry may even enhance perceived attractiveness, giving life and movement to features that might otherwise seem artificial. Muscles pull with minute variations, creating the micro-expressions that convey emotion and sincerity. Every face, therefore, is both sculpture and signature, a living reflection of experience written in the delicate, uneven symmetry of human beauty. The small intestine absorbs nearly all dietary nutrients. After the stomach has broken food into a liquid mixture, it passes into the small intestine, where true digestion and absorption take place. Over 20 feet long and lined with millions of finger-like villi, it provides an enormous surface area for capturing nutrients. Enzymes and bile continue to break down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats into forms that can cross the intestinal wall. tiny blood and lymphatic vessels collect these nutrients, delivering them to the rest of the body. The process is continuous and incredibly efficient. Almost everything useful is extracted before the remaining material moves on to the large intestine. The intestinal lining renews itself rapidly, replacing old cells within days to maintain absorption. Within this winding corridor, chemistry and motion combine, transforming the raw materials of life into energy, structure, and thought. Every heartbeat and breath depends on the work done quietly within these folds. The tongue print is unique to each person. Just like fingerprints, every tongue bears a pattern that is entirely its own. The surface, covered with ridges, papillae, and taste buds, forms a topography that differs subtly between individuals. Shape, size, and texture all contribute to this uniqueness. Advances in biometric research have shown that tongue prints can serve as reliable identifiers, as their patterns are difficult to replicate or alter. Beyond identification, the tongue is a remarkable organ of movement and sensitivity. It aids in speaking, chewing, swallowing, and tasting, coordinated by a complex web of muscles that never tire. Its surface is constantly renewed by a thin layer of epithelial cells, maintaining flexibility and hygiene. Though rarely seen, the tongue's hidden individuality is part of what makes every voice, every word, and every taste distinctly human, a signature written in flesh rather than ink. The human body has over 600 skeletal muscles. The body is a living orchestra of more than 600 muscles, each working in harmony to create movement, stability, and expression. Some are large and powerful, like the quadriceps that lift the body from a chair, while others are tiny, like those that adjust the eyes or control the shape of the lips. Muscles connect to bones through tendons, converting electrical impulses from the nervous system into mechanical force. Even when still, many remain active, maintaining posture and tension. They consume enormous amounts of energy, responding instantly to thought and emotion. This network of fibers, bound by fascia and nourished by blood, shapes every action from walking to whispering. Over a lifetime, these muscles contract billions of times, each motion a ripple in the body's living fabric. Together, they form an intricate engine that transforms intention into grace, turning thought itself into the poetry of motion. Blood makes up about 8% of body weight. In an adult, blood accounts for roughly 1/12 of total body weight, a dense river of plasma, cells, and nutrients that sustains every organ. Within it, red blood cells carry oxygen, white cells defend against invaders, and platelets repair damage. Suspended in fluid, these elements travel through an immense network of vessels, ensuring that every cell receives energy and carries away waste. The liquid portion, plasma, is mostly water but also contains proteins, salts, and hormones that keep internal balance steady. Despite its vital role, this volume remains surprisingly small, only about 5 liters in total. Within it lies the entire chemistry of life. Its flow adjusts with need, faster during exertion and slower at rest. Every heartbeat recycles it through the body in less than a minute, proof that even a modest river, when guided with precision, can nourish an entire living world. The body contains enough iron to make a small nail. Hidden within the body's chemistry is a trace of metal that gives life its color. Iron, though only present in small amounts, is essential for carrying oxygen. Each molecule of hemoglobin in red blood cells holds iron atoms at its core, binding oxygen in the lungs and releasing it in tissues that need energy. If all this iron were gathered together, it would weigh only a few grams, yet that tiny quantity could forge a small iron nail. Without it, survival would be impossible. Iron also appears in enzymes that aid metabolism and in proteins that store oxygen within muscles. The balance is delicate. Too little brings weakness and fatigue, while too much can damage organs. The quiet gleam of this hidden metal reminds us that the same element found deep in the Earth's core also circulates within our veins, linking human life to the planet's ancient fire. Each foot has 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles. Every step you take depends on a masterpiece of engineering hidden inside each foot. 26 bones interlock through 33 joints, supported by more than 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Together they form a flexible arch that absorbs shock, propels motion, and maintains balance. The foot must be strong enough to bear weight, yet supple enough to adapt to uneven ground. Over a lifetime, these structures endure immense strain, carrying a person the equivalent of several times around the planet. The coordination between bones and soft tissue allows for both stability and subtlety, from sprinting to standing still. Each motion involves countless adjustments made unconsciously by the nervous system. Despite its endurance, the foot remains sensitive, containing thousands of nerve endings that help maintain posture. It is both foundation and instrument, a complex sculpture evolved for movement and connection with the earth beneath. The nails on the dominant hand grow faster than those on the other hand. If you compare your hands closely, you might notice that the nails on your dominant hand are slightly longer. This difference arises because increased use of one hand stimulates blood flow and cell division in its fingertips. Growth rate also varies by finger, with the middle and ring fingers tending to grow quickest. Nails are made of keratin, the same resilient protein found in hair, horns, and feathers. Beneath each one lies the matrix, where new cells form and push the older layers outward. They respond subtly to hormones, temperature, and even nutrition. Faster growth on the dominant hand reflects how the body prioritizes circulation and renewal where activity is greatest. Though nails may seem inert, they record a quiet history of health, stress, and environment. Their slow, steady expansion is a visible measure of time, shaped by every gesture you make. The brain's memory capacity may exceed several petabytes. The human brain's capacity for memory surpasses the limits of any machine yet built. Estimates suggest it could hold the equivalent of millions of gigabytes, perhaps several petabytes, enough to store every moment of a lifetime and more. Unlike computers, however, the brain does not record experiences as discrete files, but as networks of associations, emotions, and sensory impressions woven together. Memories overlap and strengthen with repetition, reshaping neural connections through a process known as plasticity. Even forgetting plays an essential role, clearing space for adaptation and learning. Each new experience alters the map, forming threads that link thought to emotion and meaning. Within this fluid web, knowledge, habit, and imagination coexist. The true measure of memory is not storage, but the capacity to reshape itself endlessly, turning every recollection into a living pattern of who we are and what we might become. The spinal column protects a bundle of nerves as thick as a thumb. Running through the hollow channel of the vertebral column lies the spinal cord, a slender yet vital extension of the brain. About the thickness of a thumb, it carries millions of signals every second, linking the central nervous system to the body. Surrounding vertebrae act as armor, with discs providing flexibility and shock absorption. Through this conduit pass the messages that make movement and sensation possible. Damage here can interrupt all communication below the injury, showing how vital the structure is. The cord's interior gray matter manages reflexes, while the outer white matter transmits long-distance impulses coated in insulating myelin for speed. From its base, Pairs of nerves branch outward, connecting to every organ and limb. This narrow column of living fibers is both shield and highway, the route by which thought travels outward and the world's sensations return home to awareness. The ear can perceive frequencies from about 20 to 20,000 hertz. The human ear translates invisible vibrations of air into sound within a wide range of frequencies, from the deep rumble of 20 hertz to the high shimmer near 20,000. The outer ear captures waves and funnels them inward, where they vibrate the eardrum. These movements travel through the middle ear bones to the cochlea, whose fluid and microscopic hair cells transform vibration into nerve impulses. Different cells respond to specific frequencies, allowing the brain to map pitch along the spiral structure like keys on an instrument. Sensitivity peaks in the middle of the range, near human speech, which may explain why voices sound most natural there. Age and exposure to loud noise gradually reduce the upper limit, but the ear remains remarkably adaptable. Within this span of frequencies lies all the music, language, and subtle sound that shape our sense of presence and emotion. Tears have different chemical compositions depending on emotion. Not all tears are the same. Those shed from irritation, such as when cutting onions, differ chemically from tears released by sadness or joy. Emotional tears contain higher levels of certain hormones and proteins linked to stress relief and mood regulation. They also trigger social responses, inviting empathy and comfort from others. Each tear begins in the lacrimal glands, spreads across the eye to cleanse and lubricate, and then drains away through tiny ducts. The saline solution maintains clarity and health, but its emotional variants carry traces of the inner world. Scientists believe crying evolved both for psychological release and communication, a nonverbal language expressing vulnerability and connection. Whether caused by grief or laughter, tears reveal the intimate chemistry of feeling. They remind us that emotion has physical form, a liquid bridge between the body's biology and the invisible landscape of the heart. The skin on the lips is only a few cells thick. Unlike most skin, which has multiple protective layers, the lips are covered by a very thin epidermis, only a few cells deep. This translucence allows underlying blood vessels to show through, giving lips their characteristic color. The thinness also makes them more sensitive to temperature, touch, and texture. Because they lack sweat glands and oil-producing follicles, lips dry out easily and rely on saliva or external moisture for protection. They contain a dense network of nerve endings that make them among the most sensitive areas of the body, important for both speech and the exploration of sensation. The softness of the lips arises from this unique structure, fragile, richly innervated, and exposed. Their vulnerability is part of their function, allowing fine control for sound and expression, turning the simplest movement into one of the most powerful forms of human communication. The stomach replaces its lining every few days. Inside the stomach, powerful acids and enzymes break down food into its component nutrients. These same substances could easily digest the stomach itself, but the body has evolved a clever defense. The entire inner lining of the stomach is coated in mucus that resists acid and is renewed every 2 to 4 days. Millions of new cells replace those worn away, ensuring constant protection. This rapid turnover is one of the fastest regenerative processes in the body. The cycle also maintains digestive efficiency, as healthy tissue secretes enzymes and hormones that regulate hunger and digestion. Any disruption to this balance, such as stress or infection, can lead to ulcers when the protective barrier weakens. The process reveals the stomach's dual nature, destructive and creative at once, an organ that survives its own corrosive power through continuous rebirth. The eyes move about 100,000 times each day. Even when you think you are staring straight ahead, your eyes are in constant motion. They make tiny, rapid adjustments called saccades, scanning the world to refresh the image on the retina. Over the course of a day, these movements add up to around 100,000 shifts as the muscles of the eye work tirelessly to track, focus, and stabilize vision. The brain merges these fragments into a seamless perception of the world, ignoring the blur between movements. Each flicker of the eye helps gather detail, depth, and motion. This ceaseless activity keeps vision sharp and prevents fading of the image due to sensory adaptation. The motion is also emotional, reacting to curiosity, surprise, or fatigue. Behind every glance is a choreography of muscle and thought, a restless searchlight sweeping across the visible world in the service of awareness. The left lung is slightly smaller to make space for the heart. Inside the chest, symmetry yields to necessity. The heart leans slightly to the left, so the left lung is smaller and has only 2 lobes, while the right has 3. This arrangement allows room for the heart's steady motion and the major blood vessels that connect to it. The lungs themselves are spongy, lightweight organs filled with millions of alveoli that exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide with every breath. Their size difference does not reduce efficiency, as the left lung's airways branch more densely to compensate. Together, the pair expand and contract about 20,000 times a day, keeping oxygen flowing to every cell. This subtle asymmetry demonstrates how the body adapts form to function, shaping itself around the rhythms of the heart, an anatomical partnership where structure follows the pulse of life. Blood is bright red because of iron-rich hemoglobin. The vivid red color of blood comes from hemoglobin, a protein that binds oxygen in red blood cells. Each molecule of hemoglobin contains iron atoms at its core, and when oxygen attaches, the complex reflects light as bright red. Once the oxygen is released to tissues, the color darkens to a deeper hue. This simple change is what makes the veins beneath the skin appear blue, as light penetrates and scatters through tissue. The bond between iron and oxygen is both delicate and strong, designed for easy exchange. Without this chemical relationship, the body could not transport oxygen efficiently. The same element that rusts metal also fuels respiration, linking the chemistry of life to the elements of the earth. Every heartbeat is therefore a flicker of metal meeting air, a rhythmic glow of living iron that powers the fire of metabolism. Bones are hollow yet stronger than concrete. At first glance, hollow bones might seem fragile, but their structure follows one of nature's most efficient designs. The outer layer, called cortical bone, forms a dense shell that provides strength, while the hollow center, filled with marrow, reduces weight and houses blood-forming tissue. The internal lattice of trabeculae distributes stress evenly, allowing bones to withstand enormous pressure without breaking. By weight, bone is stronger than concrete, capable of bearing heavy loads, while remaining flexible enough to absorb shock. The hollow design also allows blood vessels and nerves to pass through, nourishing the living tissue within. Over time, bones constantly remodel themselves, dissolving old material and replacing it with new to adapt to changing demands. This combination of lightness, resilience, and renewal is a triumph of biological architecture, proving that strength need not come from mass but from intelligent design. The body's balance system can detect movements smaller than a grain of sand. Deep within the inner ear, the vestibular system senses motion with astonishing precision. Tiny crystals called otoliths rest on hair cells suspended in fluid-filled chambers. When you move your head, gravity or acceleration shifts these crystals, bending the hairs and sending signals to the brain. The system can detect changes as subtle as a fraction of a millimeter, smaller than a grain of sand. Combined with information from the eyes and muscles, it allows seamless balance and coordination. This sensitivity keeps you steady when walking in darkness or adjusting to sudden movement. Even the sensation of dizziness after spinning is the result of fluid continuing to move after you stop. The balance system operates entirely below conscious thought, providing the stability that makes action possible. It is one of the body's most delicate and reliable navigational tools, tuned to the whisper of motion itself. The skeleton renews itself completely every 10 years. Although bones appear permanent, they are in constant flux. Specialized cells called osteoclasts break down old tissue while osteoblasts build new bone in its place. This remodeling process responds to stress, nutrition, and hormones, ensuring that the skeleton remains strong and flexible. Over about a decade, nearly every molecule of bone is replaced, meaning you carry a completely renewed framework without ever noticing. The rate of renewal varies by location. Weight-bearing bones turn over faster than others. This continual change helps repair microdamage from daily strain and maintains calcium balance in the bloodstream. Far from being static, the skeleton is a dynamic organ, listening and adapting to the body's needs. Each step you take shapes its architecture anew. The bones within you are thus both ancient and recent, a living archive of time, pressure, and the invisible labor of renewal. The body contains about 5 liters of blood. An adult's body holds roughly 5 liters of blood, an amount that circulates continuously through every organ and tissue. This volume is perfectly balanced, enough to deliver oxygen and nutrients efficiently, yet not so heavy that the heart must labor excessively. In 1 minute, the entire supply passes through the heart, completing a full circuit of the body. During exertion, the flow can increase several times over, while at rest it slows to conserve energy. Blood volume adjusts subtly with hydration and altitude, ensuring stable pressure. Despite its modest quantity, this crimson fluid sustains everything, carrying hormones, immune cells, and messages between organs. It is constantly renewed by bone marrow and filtered by the liver and kidneys. Within those 5 liters lies a moving history of life, a river that began before birth and will not rest until the final heartbeat. The liver stores and releases sugar to maintain energy balance. Hidden beneath the ribs, the liver acts as the body's regulator of energy. After meals, it absorbs glucose from the blood and converts it into glycogen, a compact storage form of sugar. When energy demand rises between meals or during sleep, the liver breaks down glycogen back into glucose and releases it to keep blood sugar steady. This balance prevents weakness or faintness and ensures the brain and muscles always have fuel. The process is governed by hormones such as insulin and glucagon, which respond to subtle changes in metabolism. The liver's dual ability to store and supply energy makes it one of the most adaptable organs in the body. Its quiet vigilance allows all other systems to function smoothly, maintaining equilibrium even through fasting or exertion. Every thought, movement, and breath depends on its constant invisible accounting of energy. Eyelashes protect the eyes from dust and debris. Framing the eyes like delicate guards, eyelashes serve a vital protective role. Each lash grows from a small follicle along the eyelid, curving outward to intercept dust, particles, and droplets before they reach the eye's surface. Their placement and density create a barrier that reduces airflow and evaporation, helping to keep the cornea moist. When touched, lashes trigger a reflex blink that shields the eye instantly from danger. They grow in cycles, lasting about 3 months before falling out and being replaced. Sebaceous glands at their base secrete oil that prevents clumping and maintains flexibility. Beyond their biological purpose, lashes also contribute to human expression, amplifying emotion in a glance. In their simplicity, They show how evolution shapes beauty from necessity, small filaments that combine function, elegance, and protection in one of the body's most expressive features. The skin hosts a large ecosystem of microscopic life. Across the surface of the body lives a vast community of microscopic residents that includes bacteria, fungi, and mites. Collectively, this population is called the skin microbiome, and it varies from one region of the body to another depending on moisture, oil, and exposure to the environment. On the forehead and nose, oil-loving species thrive, while on the forearm and lower leg, communities adapted to drier conditions take root. These organisms form protective alliances with the immune system, competing with potential pathogens and producing substances that help keep the barrier intact. The composition shifts with age, climate, and personal care habits, yet it tends to return toward a personal baseline, as though the skin remembers its preferred balance. Far from being a battlefield alone, this landscape is a cooperative marketplace of chemicals and signals. The result is a living shield that helps maintain hydration, defend against invaders, and train immunity to respond wisely rather than wildly. Each kidney contains about 1 million tiny filters called nephrons. Inside each kidney, a dense forest of microscopic structures performs a ceaseless task. Blood arrives through branching vessels and enters spherical filters called glomeruli. Pressure pushes water and small molecules into a delicate capsule, beginning a journey through twisting tubules where the body reclaims what it needs and discards what it does not. Sodium and water move back into the bloodstream with exquisite precision, while waste products such as urea continue onward to form urine. Hormones adjust these steps minute by minute to maintain the right balance of fluids, electrolytes, and acidity. The architecture is remarkably compact, packing roughly 1 million of these filtering units into an organ that fits in the palm of a hand. When demand increases, more nephrons increase their activity. When demand falls, they ease. The kidneys therefore act as master chemists of the internal environment, writing the recipe for equilibrium with every heartbeat. The average adult takes about 20,000 breaths each day. Without conscious effort, the body cycles air in and out roughly once every few seconds. The diaphragm descends, the ribs lift slightly, and the lungs expand to draw in a mixture rich in oxygen. Moments later, the elastic tissues recoil, and carbon dioxide leaves with the exhale. This rhythm changes with sleep, exertion, and emotion, yet it continues faithfully through them all. Within the lungs, the exchange happens across a film so thin that gases slip through with ease, meeting red blood cells that carry oxygen to hungry tissues. Breathing also tunes the nervous system. Slow, deep breaths can calm the heart and focus attention, while quick, shallow breaths prepare muscles for action. Each inhalation carries scents and temperatures that paint the moment, while each exhalation carries traces of the body's recent work. Over a single day, these thousands of breaths mark time, like gentle waves on the shoreline of life. Human teeth are as strong as those of a shark when measured by density. Although sharks wield fearsome jaws, their tooth material is not inherently stronger than human enamel when compared by density. Enamel is a highly mineralized layer that covers each crown with crystals arranged to resist wear and fracture. Beneath it lies dentin, a slightly softer matrix that absorbs shock and supports the brittle enamel above. Together, these layers form a composite that handles crushing, tearing, and grinding with surprising durability. Saliva buffers acids, carries minerals that help repair early damage, and keeps the surface slippery so food does not cling. Microscopic ridges guide forces toward the strongest directions, distributing stress during chewing. Teeth do not regenerate like bone, which makes care essential, yet the material itself is a marvel of natural engineering. With proper alignment and healthy gums, human teeth can endure decades of meals, conversations, and smiles while maintaining both function and form. The hip joint is one of the most durable joints in the body. Where the thigh meets the pelvis, a rounded head fits precisely into a deep cup lined with smooth cartilage. This ball and socket design spreads forces across a wide surface, allowing the joint to bear heavy loads while maintaining a generous range of motion. Synovial fluid, a clear liquid richer than oil in slipperiness, coats the surfaces so they glide with minimal friction. Strong ligaments wrap the joint, and powerful muscles stabilize it during walking, running, and climbing. The angle of the neck of the femur helps distribute weight and reduces stress during each step. Over time, bone remodels in response to the patterns of pressure it experiences, reinforcing the regions that work hardest. When the system is well balanced, the hip can sustain a lifetime of movement. Its sturdy geometry and careful lubrication reveal how structure and biology collaborate to keep motion both powerful and smooth. The ribs move slightly outward when you breathe. Each breath subtly widens the chest. The ribs pivot at their joints like handles on a bucket, lifting and rotating outward as intercostal muscles contract. This motion increases the space within the thorax so the lungs can expand with minimal effort. The diaphragm contributes by moving downward like a flexible floor. Together, these actions lower pressure inside the chest and draw air inward. On exhalation, muscles relax, elastic tissues recoil, and the ribs settle back to their resting positions. Different regions of the rib cage contribute differently depending on posture and activity, and the left side accommodates the space needed by the heart. The movement is often imperceptible to the eye, yet you can feel it by placing a hand on the sides of the chest and breathing slowly. The entire mechanism is a graceful hinge powered by breath, opening and closing around the rhythm of life. The heart creates a measurable magnetic field. With every beat, electrical currents flow across cardiac muscle, and moving charges generate a magnetic field that extends beyond the chest. Sensitive instruments can detect this signal and map the timing of cardiac events without touching the body. The field is faint compared with the magnetic noise of daily life, yet it carries information about how impulses travel through the heart. Changes in direction or timing can indicate stress on the tissue or pathways that require attention. This phenomenon is not unique to the heart, since all electrical activity produces magnetic patterns, but the heart's rhythmic pulses make its field particularly regular and detectable. The fact that such a delicate aura surrounds each of us is a reminder that living systems are electrical as well as chemical. Inside the quiet of the chest, current and magnetism dance together, guiding the motion that sustains circulation. The muscles that move the eyes are the fastest in the body. To keep vision clear, the eyes must dart swiftly from point to point and then hold steady. 6 small muscles around each eye coordinate to perform these tasks with remarkable speed. During a saccade, the eye can shift position in a fraction of a second, far faster than most other muscles can act. The brain plans these movements constantly, predicting where attention should turn and preparing the motors to deliver precision. Even tiny tremors help prevent the image on the retina from fading. Despite their speed, the muscles can also stabilize gaze so that a stationary object remains crisp while the head moves. This balance of quickness and control lets you track a bird in flight or read lines of text with ease. The elegance of the system is in its timing, a choreography of motion that makes sight feel effortless. The thyroid gland helps regulate metabolism. At the base of the neck sits a butterfly-shaped gland that releases hormones influencing nearly every tissue. These hormones help set the body's metabolic pace, determining how quickly cells convert nutrients into energy. When levels are balanced, temperature, heart rate, and energy feel steady. and growth proceeds normally. The brain monitors levels and adjusts output through a cascade of signals that begins in the hypothalamus and pituitary. Iodine, a trace element from diet, is essential for building the hormone molecules, which is why nutrition matters for thyroid health. The gland responds to life's shifts, increasing output during growth and pregnancy, and modulating in response to stress or illness. When function drifts high or low, the changes ripple through mood, weight, and concentration. Such broad influence from a small organ shows how finely the body coordinates chemistry to keep the internal tempo in tune. The jawbone is the hardest bone in the human body. The mandible bears the force of biting and chewing, so it must be strong. Its dense cortical layer resists bending, while internal trabecular patterns distribute stress toward the joints near the ears. Teeth anchor into sockets along its ridge, and the bone remodels continually to maintain those attachments as forces change. Muscles of impressive power attach to its surfaces, lifting and positioning it thousands of times per day. Despite this workload, the joint between the jaw and the skull allows both precision and range, from gentle speech to crushing pressure on food. The balance of hardness and adaptability is crucial. Too brittle, and it would fracture. Too soft, and it would deform. The mandible's design meets both challenges, proving that resilience can arise from architecture as well as material strength. The cerebellum coordinates movement with extreme precision. At the back of the brain sits a structure with a surface folded into fine ridges, vastly increasing the area available for neurons. This region receives a flood of information from the eyes, ears, muscles, and inner ear. It compares intention with performance, correcting errors in real time so movement appears smooth and accurate. When you reach for a glass, the cerebellum ensures the hand arrives without shaking. When you learn a skill, it refines timing until actions become automatic. It also contributes to balance, posture, and the fluidity of speech. Damage here does not erase strength but scatters it, turning fluid arcs into broken lines. The cerebellum is a master of calibration, reducing noise and sharpening signals so that complex sequences play like music. Its constant work is the difference between clumsy effort and graceful ease. The brain's white matter is named for its fatty coating. Bundles of long nerve fibers connect distant regions of the brain, allowing information to travel rapidly. These axons are wrapped in myelin, a fatty sheath that insulates the signal and increases conduction speed. Under the microscope, this tissue appears pale compared with the darker gray regions filled with cell bodies, which is why it is called white matter. Efficient communication depends on the quality of this insulation. During development and practice, myelin can increase along frequently used pathways, strengthening performance and reducing reaction time. Even in adulthood, activity and learning influence these networks. The wide highways beneath the cortex knit the brain into a single functioning whole, linking perception, memory, and action. Without them, thought would be slow and disjointed. With them, ideas and movements arrive on time, ready to meet the moment. The cornea regenerates itself every few days. The clear front window of the eye must stay smooth and transparent, so its outermost cells turn over quickly. At the edges, a ring of stem-like cells produces new layers that slide toward the center, replacing worn or injured surfaces in a matter of days. Tears deliver oxygen and nutrients, while blinking spreads a protective film that keeps the surface even. Nerves densely packed in this region alert you to dryness or debris, prompting a protective blink or the urge to add moisture. Because clarity is essential for focusing light, even tiny scratches can blur vision until the surface restores itself. Coordinated repair ensures that new cells align properly, preserving the delicate curvature that bends light toward the lens and retina. The result is a self-maintaining window that polishes itself continually while you go about your life. The skeleton contains about half of the body's calcium. Inside the framework of bone resides a reserve of mineral that the body can draw upon when needed. Calcium provides hardness to the matrix and supports the functions of nerves and muscles. Hormones monitor levels in the blood and signal bone cells to release or store calcium to keep the concentration within a narrow range. Diet supplies the raw material, but mechanical stress determines where reinforcement is added. Bones under regular load become denser over time, while disused regions lose mineral. This dynamic balance uses the skeleton as both structure and bank. When everything is in harmony, bones remain strong and the bloodstream stays stable. When balance falters, the body may borrow too much from the reserves, and fragility can follow. The interplay of hormones, nutrition, and movement keeps this mineral economy healthy. The pancreas sits behind the stomach and produces digestive enzymes. Tucked against the back of the abdomen lies a slender organ with two major roles. One part releases enzymes into the small intestine that break down fats, proteins, and carbohydrates into absorbable pieces. Another part releases hormones into the bloodstream, including insulin and glucagon, which regulate blood sugar. The timing is critical. Enzymes must flow when food arrives, and hormones must adjust as glucose rises and falls. Ducts carry the secretions to their destinations, and small clusters of hormone-making cells monitor the chemistry of the blood. When these systems coordinate well, digestion is efficient and energy remains steady. The pancreas therefore acts as both laboratory and messenger, turning meals into nourishment and maintaining balance long after the last bite is taken. Each fingertip contains about 3,000 touch receptors. On the pads of the fingers, a dense network of sensory endings reads the physical world with extraordinary fidelity. Some receptors respond to gentle pressure, others to vibration, and others to tiny changes in skin stretch. Together, they create a detailed map of texture, shape, and motion. The ridges that form fingerprints improve grip and amplify vibrations, enhancing sensitivity. Signals travel along fast nerve fibers to the spinal cord and brain, arriving quickly enough to guide movement in real time. That is why you can pick up a fragile glass without looking or feel a thread catch on a rough edge. Attention sharpens the system further, increasing the gain on subtle inputs. This sensory richness turns touch into a language, one that allows the hands to think along with the mind. The spleen stores extra blood for emergencies. On the left side of the abdomen, behind the ribs, a soft organ filters old red blood cells from circulation and houses immune cells that watch for signs of infection. It also serves as a reservoir, but can release additional blood into the system during sudden demand. When the body needs more oxygen-carrying capacity, smooth muscle within the organ contracts and adds volume to the bloodstream. This backup helps stabilize pressure and performance during stress or injury. The spleen's internal architecture creates channels where immune cells sample passing fluids, learning the molecular signatures of invaders. It is both warehouse and checkpoint, ready to provide supplies while keeping vigilant watch. The adrenal glands sit above the kidneys and release stress hormones. Perched like small caps on top of each kidney, a pair of glands responds to immediate and long-term stress. The inner portion releases adrenaline and related molecules that increase heart rate, open airways, and prepare muscles for action. The outer portion produces hormones that regulate salt balance, blood pressure, and metabolism over longer periods. Signals from the brain trigger these outputs within seconds or across hours, depending on the challenge. Although often associated with alarm, these hormones also support healthy daily rhythms, helping you wake, adapt to effort, and recover afterward. The system's strength lies in its flexibility, amplifying resources when needed and easing back when the moment passes. The lungs can float on water because they contain air. A fresh lung is buoyant. Its spongy tissue contains millions of tiny air sacs that remain partially open even after exhalation, a feature that prevents collapse and speeds the next breath. The structure resembles a branching tree whose smallest twigs end in clusters of bubbles. Thin walls separate air from blood, and a soapy surfactant reduces surface tension so the bubbles do not stick shut. When placed in water, this trapped air provides enough lift for the organ to float. Buoyancy is a side effect of a design meant for efficient gas exchange. The same openness that keeps it afloat is what allows oxygen to move swiftly into blood and carbon dioxide to leave just as quickly. Cartilage gives shape to the ears and nose. In places where flexibility matters more than hardness, the body turns to cartilage. This smooth, springy tissue supports the outer ear and the tip of the nose, holding their forms while yielding to touch. It also lines many joints, covering bone ends with a slick surface that allows near frictionless movement. Cartilage contains no blood vessels within its smoothest regions, so it derives nutrients from surrounding fluid. That design minimizes friction and wear while requiring careful maintenance. Cells embedded in the matrix sense pressure and use it as a cue to keep the material healthy. The result is structure without rigidity, shape that bends and returns, form that speaks of gentleness rather than force. The collarbone is the first bone to form during development. Among the earliest elements to appear in the human skeleton, the collarbone begins forming while the embryo is still only weeks old. It bridges the breastbone to the shoulder blade, anchoring the upper limb to the torso long before the rest of the body has solidified. Its early development allows the growing arms to move freely even in the womb, preparing the muscles and joints for later strength and coordination. Structurally, it acts like a strut, holding the shoulders outward to give the chest its breadth and flexibility. Despite its slender shape, it endures immense tension from the arms, especially when lifting or bracing. Because it develops early, it can also repair well after injury, knitting itself with remarkable speed. It is both a relic of ancient evolution and a foundation for human motion, a bone whose presence shapes posture, movement, and balance from life's very beginning. The skin produces tiny electrical signals when touched. Every touch creates a faint current. When pressure bends or stretches the skin, specialized receptors open channels that allow ions to flow, generating an electrical impulse that travels along sensory nerves. These signals reach the spinal cord and brain within milliseconds, forming the language of sensation. Each receptor type encodes different details: light touch, vibration, temperature, or pain. The voltage is small, yet its timing and pattern contain rich information about texture and force. In laboratories, sensitive instruments can detect these electrical ripples at the surface, evidence of the body's living circuitry. The process is so efficient that the brain can interpret even the briefest contact with precision. Every moment of touch, from holding a cup to feeling wind against the skin, is carried by this quiet electricity. It is proof that perception begins not in thought, but in the charged conversation between skin and world. The tongue has thousands of taste buds arranged in small clusters. Across the surface of the tongue lies a landscape of tiny bumps called papillae, within which rest clusters of taste buds. Each bud contains dozens of sensory cells tuned to one of 5 primary taste categories: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. These cells regenerate every week or two, ensuring freshness and sensitivity. Taste is a partnership between chemistry and electricity. When molecules from food dissolve in saliva and bind to receptors, they trigger a cascade that sends signals to the brain. where flavor emerges as both taste and smell unite. Temperature, texture, and even sound influence the experience. The clusters are not evenly distributed. Different regions of the tongue contribute differently, though all can sense every taste type. The constant renewal of these cells means that perception of flavor subtly changes through life. Every meal becomes a conversation between the senses, memory, and the chemistry of the moment. The brainstem controls automatic functions like breathing. At the base of the brain, just above the spinal cord, lies a compact structure that keeps life running without conscious thought. The brainstem governs vital rhythms such as heartbeat, breathing, and sleep cycles. It relays messages between the brain's higher regions and the body's organs, maintaining communication even during deep rest. Within its narrow core, clusters of neurons sense carbon dioxide levels and adjust breathing automatically. Other centers regulate swallowing, blood pressure, and alertness. Damage to this region can disrupt these essential patterns, which shows how deeply all bodily systems depend on it. Evolutionarily ancient, the brainstem resembles the original neural architectures that appeared in early animals. Its design is efficient and resilient, built to operate continuously without pause. It is the silent conductor of the body's orchestra, guiding the rhythm of survival moment by moment. The human hand can perform more than 50 precise movements. The hand's complexity lies in its balance between strength and finesse. Bones arranged in an intricate pattern allow rotation, grip, and fine manipulation. Tendons run from the forearm through sheaths at the wrist to the fingertips, transmitting the pull of muscles with mechanical grace. Small muscles within the hand refine each gesture, letting fingers move independently or together as needed. Ligaments maintain stability while allowing flexibility, and sensory feedback from the skin provides constant correction. These structures enable an astonishing range of actions, from lifting heavy tools to threading a needle or expressing emotion through touch. The thumb's unique opposition to the fingers multiplies this versatility. Every motion is a collaboration between anatomy and neural control, a physical language shaped by evolution to build, create, and connect. Within this small span of bone and tendon resides one of nature's most advanced instruments. The eyes contain over 100 million light-sensitive cells. The inner lining of the eye, called the retina, holds a vast mosaic of photoreceptor cells that convert light into electrical signals. These include rods, which detect faint light and motion, and cones, which perceive color and detail. Together, they number more than 100 million, packed into a sheet no thicker than a paper slip. When light enters the eye, it bends through the cornea and lens to form an image on this surface. The signals then travel along the optic nerve to the brain, where they are assembled into sight. Cones concentrate in the center, producing clarity and color, while rods dominate the periphery, expanding sensitivity to dim surroundings. This division allows vision to remain functional in both day and night. The precision and density of these receptors make the eye one of the most efficient biological sensors ever evolved. The heart's rhythm changes in response to emotion. Though its beat feels steady, the heart is constantly adjusting to the shifting landscape of the mind. Emotions like joy, fear, and calm influence signals from the autonomic nervous system, which speed or slow the heart's contractions. Happiness and relaxation increase variability between beats, a sign of resilience and adaptability, while stress or anxiety tighten the rhythm into rigid uniformity. Hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol play their part, altering pace within seconds of emotional change. This dialogue between mind and muscle is reciprocal. Calm breathing can soften the rhythm, while rapid heartbeat can intensify feeling. Monitors can record these fluctuations in fine detail, showing that the heart mirrors thought as much as it sustains life. Beneath its physical motion lies an emotional pulse, proof that the boundaries between body and feeling are beautifully porous. The liver holds about 1 pint of blood at any moment. Within the liver's dense tissue, wide vessels form a reservoir that contains roughly a pint of blood at any given time. This supply allows the organ to regulate flow between the digestive tract and the rest of the body. As blood passes through, the liver filters toxins, stores nutrients, and adjusts sugar levels with extraordinary precision. It can release or sequester blood depending on need, helping maintain stable circulation when the body changes posture or activity. The liver's design resembles a sponge threaded with highways of cells that touch nearly every drop that passes through. When oxygen and nutrients are absorbed from the intestines, they arrive here first for sorting and processing before being released into general circulation. This constant management keeps chemistry balanced and energy available. The pint within it is not static. It is a living tide flowing through the body's central laboratory. A lifetime of saliva production could fill several swimming pools. Over decades, the salivary glands beneath the tongue, near the jaw, and behind the cheeks collectively produce thousands of liters of fluid. Each day yields about 1 to 1.5 liters, most of it unnoticed as it quietly keeps the mouth moist. Saliva contains enzymes that begin digesting starches, antibacterial molecules that protect teeth and gums, and minerals that help repair enamel. It also shapes taste, dissolving food so receptors can sense flavor. Production rises at mealtime and drops during sleep, which is why the mouth feels dry upon waking. Over a lifetime, the accumulated total would indeed fill several swimming pools. Beyond quantity, the balance of components reveals much about health and hydration. This constant flow may seem mundane, yet it represents a perfectly tuned system of cleansing, protection, and preparation for nourishment. Bones communicate through chemical signals to coordinate repair. Bone is alive, filled with cells that sense pressure and damage. When stress or microfractures occur, these cells release chemical messengers that summon others to rebuild or reshape the structure. Osteoclasts clear away worn areas, while osteoblasts deposit fresh matrix in their place. Hormones and mechanical forces influence the pace, and nearby tissues respond to the same signals to ensure alignment. Communication also extends through microscopic canals that connect bone cells like a hidden telephone network. The coordination allows repair to occur precisely where needed, without disturbing stable regions. Even after maturity, this system remains active, responding to exercise, nutrition, and load. Every step, jump, or stretch sends data through this chemical web, keeping the skeleton responsive and balanced. What appears rigid is, in truth, a vigilant and self-aware architecture, constantly listening for signs of strain. The sense of touch travels faster than the sense of pain. When the skin encounters a stimulus, different nerve fibers carry different kinds of information to the brain. Touch signals travel along thick, myelinated fibers that conduct impulses rapidly, while pain travels on thinner, slower ones. This difference in speed means that when you bump your arm, you feel the pressure before you feel the ache. The brain integrates these streams to build a complete picture of what happened. Quick signals allow reflexes to react instantly, pulling away from danger before injury deepens. The slower pain pathway then teaches caution, ensuring memory of the event. Together, they form a sequence of protection and learning. This layered design balances survival and understanding, allowing humans to move safely through a world that can both nurture and harm. Fascia forms a continuous web of connective tissue under the skin. Beneath the surface lies a sheet of fibrous tissue that wraps every muscle, organ, and vessel, in a seamless web. This fascia gives the body its internal structure, connecting parts that might otherwise seem separate. It allows muscles to slide smoothly against one another and transmits force efficiently through movement. Recent research shows it also contains sensory receptors that influence posture and proprioception, contributing to the sense of where the body is in space. When hydrated and elastic, fascia supports graceful motion. When stiff or dehydrated, it can restrict it. Massage, stretching, and gentle movement help maintain its suppleness. Far from passive wrapping, it is an intelligent network of tension and release, woven through every part of the human form. The fascia's quiet continuity demonstrates that the body is not a collection of parts, but a unified, responsive whole. The diaphragm is the main muscle responsible for breathing. At the base of the rib cage lies a thin dome of muscle that acts as the floor of the chest cavity. When it contracts, it flattens downward, enlarging the space above and drawing air into the lungs. As it relaxes, it rises again, pushing air out. This rhythmic motion underlies every breath, whether during sleep or speech. The diaphragm works in concert with the intercostal and abdominal muscles, adjusting volume and pressure to match need. It is also linked to emotion. Stress can tighten it, while deep breathing can calm the nervous system. Singers and divers train to control its movement consciously, extending capacity and control. The muscle's strength and flexibility sustain one of life's most constant acts, quietly expanding and collapsing to the tempo of existence itself. The brain's electrical activity increases during dreaming. During rapid eye movement sleep, the brain enters a state of vivid activity that rivals or exceeds wakefulness. Neurons fire in intricate patterns as if replaying and reshaping memories, while the body remains mostly still due to temporary paralysis of major muscles. This paradox of a sleeping yet active brain is what gives rise to dreams. The visual and emotional centers ignite, weaving fragments of experience into shifting narratives. Heart rate and breathing fluctuate, reflecting the intensity of inner experience. Scientists believe this heightened activity helps consolidate memory, regulate mood, and process emotion. Although the body rests, the mind explores, stitching together meaning from the day's impressions. The energy of dreaming demonstrates that sleep is not absence but transformation, a nightly voyage through the creative workshop of consciousness. Human skin contains more than 2 million sweat glands. Spread across nearly every surface of the body, these tiny glands regulate temperature and assist in excretion. When internal heat rises, they release moisture that cools the surface through evaporation. 2 main types exist: eccrine glands, which produce clear watery sweat, and apocrine glands, which secrete a thicker fluid that becomes aromatic when bacteria break it down. The density of these glands varies by region, with the highest concentration on the palms, soles, and forehead. Their output can reach several liters per hour during intense exertion, yet the system operates with fine control to prevent dehydration. Sweat also carries small amounts of salt, urea, and minerals, reflecting the chemistry of the body. This cooling mechanism allows endurance unmatched in most animals, enabling humans to run long distances even in heat. The simplicity of perspiration hides an elegant adaptation for survival. The vocal cords vibrate faster than a hummingbird's wings. Inside the larynx, 2 folds of tissue stretch across the airway like adjustable strings. When air passes between them, they vibrate, producing sound. During speech or singing, tiny muscles alter tension and length to change pitch and volume. At high frequencies, these vibrations can exceed 1,000 times per second, surpassing the wing beats of a hummingbird. The coordination required is immense. Breath pressure, resonance in the throat and mouth, and neural control all combine to shape tone and expression. The sound produced carries emotion as much as information, turning simple vibration into communication. Whether whispering softly or singing powerfully, the voice reflects the intimate connection between air, muscle, and feeling. Every note or word begins as motion in these delicate membranes, proof that expression itself is born from breath. The skull is made up of 22 bones that protect the brain. Encasing the brain is a mosaic of bones joined by seams called sutures. These joints fuse gradually during childhood, allowing flexibility at birth and strength in adulthood. The skull's design balances protection with lightness, its curved surfaces dispersing impact efficiently. Within its cavities lie the organs of hearing, balance, vision, and smell, each shielded yet accessible. Blood vessels and nerves thread through narrow openings to supply and connect the senses. The lower jaw remains movable, completing the structure that frames expression and speech. Despite its rigid appearance, the skull grows and remodels subtly throughout life. It is both fortress and frame, housing the most complex structure known while supporting the identity that emerges from within. Joints are lubricated by a fluid more slippery than oil. Between moving bones lies a thin layer of synovial fluid, a clear liquid that reduces friction to near zero. Produced by the inner lining of the joint capsule, it combines water, hyaluronic acid, and lubricin, creating a substance smoother than any manufactured lubricant. As cartilage surfaces glide, the fluid spreads evenly, cushioning impact and delivering nutrients to tissues that lack blood supply. Movement itself circulates the liquid, keeping it fresh and evenly distributed. When hydration or health falters, the fluid can become thicker or thinner, affecting comfort and mobility. The chemistry of this lubricant represents millions of years of refinement, achieving what engineers still seek: effortless motion through perfect balance of viscosity and resilience. Each strand of hair grows about half an inch each month. Beneath the skin, every hair begins within a follicle where living cells divide rapidly. As they move upward, they fill with keratin and dye, forming the shaft that emerges from the surface. Growth occurs in cycles: a long, active phase, a brief resting period, and eventual shedding. On average, a strand lengthens about half an inch per month, though rate varies with genetics, age, and nutrition. Hormones and seasonal shifts also influence the pace. While the hair we see is inert, the follicle beneath remains active and sensitive to signals from the body. Its rhythm mirrors health and environment, recording subtle changes over time. This slow, steady growth turns every strand into a living timeline of nourishment, chemistry, and care. The body is built from about 30 trillion living cells working together. Every human body is a city of microscopic inhabitants, roughly 30 trillion in number, each with a specific role. Some produce energy, others carry oxygen, transmit signals, or defend against invaders. Together, they form tissues and organs bound by communication networks that coordinate growth and repair. Chemical messages travel between them like instructions through a vast organization. Despite their differences, all carry the same genetic blueprint, reading only the portions relevant to their tasks. Each day, billions die and are replaced without disrupting the whole. This continuous renewal keeps the organism balanced and alive. When seen at this scale, the body becomes a cooperative miracle, countless individuals acting as one, sustained by shared information and mutual dependence. And now, as the body settles and the mind begins to loosen its hold on the day, let everything you have heard tonight drift quietly through you. All those countless processes, every breath, every heartbeat, every quiet movement of life, will keep going without effort. The body knows how to care for itself. It has done so since the first spark of your beginning. Inside you, the rhythm continues. The lungs rise and fall in slow and steady waves. The heart murmurs softly, a pulse that has never missed a beat since the moment it began. Deep inside, each cell hums with its own purpose, working in harmony with billions of others. The same chemistry that shapes the stars is at work within you. You are a constellation of living matter, breathing the same air that has circled the earth since life first began. Outside, the world quiets. Sounds grow softer. Thought loosens its edges and becomes light and slow. The boundaries between body and space begin to blur, and what remains is the simple rhythm of being. Breath and stillness merge. Awareness drifts, carried gently on the tide of life, continuing its endless motion. You can rest knowing that the body's quiet intelligence never sleeps. The lungs, the heart, the blood, the cells, all remain watchful through the night. Every pulse and every flicker of energy continues its calm and steady work. You are safe within this living system that asks nothing from you now but rest. So let the day fade and your thoughts dissolve into stillness. Good night.